The sky looks bright, bright. The blue sky is decorated with white clouds. When I step onto the embankment, the dew has not completely disappeared from the tips of the rice leaves. The morning wind carries the smell of mud, the smell of wet soil, the smell of struggle. The sound of frogs calling from a distance, welcoming me as if they knew I was coming. Before me, a green expanse that is still fragile. The young rice that I just planted a few days ago is still thin, still fragile, still hoping to live. But now, they are under attack. The snails came silently, in silence, without a sound, without permission. They ate slowly, but surely. The rice stalks were broken, the leaves were tattered, and all that was left were the roots. Some even had nothing left at all. I took a deep breath. Then I bent my body. My eyes searched for the snails. Hands went into the youth, searching for, feeling something slippery, something hiding. And I found one. The first snail. Big, black. The shell was hard. It seemed like this was the parent snail. I clenched it tightly, then put it in the bucket. One. Step by step I swing along the muddy rice fields. My eyes are increasingly wild in search. I don't care. The mud that splashes on my face. I don't care about the cold that pierces to the bone. I don't care that the sun hasn't risen yet. This isn't just hunting. This is resistance. The snails keep coming. From behind the calm water. From among the weeds. From the mud that looks harmless. They come, like a nightmare for a farmer like me. 2, 3, 10. My bucket is getting heavy. But my heart is not at peace. Because I know, there are still many hiding. There are still many lurking. And I'm not done yet. Not yet. This is my rice field. The land that I have embraced since I was little. The place where my father's sweat once fell. And now, my sweat follows, seeping into the mud, becoming a witness. I will not let them destroy it. Not now. Not forever. The sky is starting to brighten. But in my mind, the battle is not over. Because as long as the rice is still standing, I will continue to hunt. Continue to fight, with these hands, with this determination, with anger that cannot be expressed, can only be poured out in one more handful of snails. Look, my rice plants, many have perished. The leaves that used to be fresh and green, now, fallen lifeless. The stems droop weakly, half torn apart, like small bodies that never had the chance to grow. And all of them, perished, in the snail's grave. I stared at him silently. But in my chest, there was a bubbling anger. Like boiling water, that has no place to spill. Every row of damaged rice is a wound that doesn't bleed, but deep. A wound that can only be felt by those who plant with love, with hope, with confidence, that hard work will not be in vain. But the snails, they don't care. They just come, crawling slowly, devouring life, without guilt, having no compassion. How big my dream is that they are destroying. I have to hunt immediately. Can't wait for tomorrow. Can't hope for time. Because time only makes them greedier. My steps quickly trace the embankment, mud spraying onto my calves, morning dew melting into cold sweat on the back of my neck. In one hand, I hold a bucket that is starting to get heavy. In the other hand, a spirit that is starting to get hot. These eyes examine every corner, every leaf that moves, every ripple on the surface of the water. And I see it. Snails. Again, and again. They were everywhere, like silent soldiers who appeared without a sound. They crept between the clumps, under the leaves, under the mud. They came like night, unseen, but swallowing everything. I caught one, then another. Sometimes two at once. Sometimes only slime was left, making me sick and furious. They danced in destruction, and I was the only interruption to their party. I am not a great hunter. But I am the owner of this rice field. This is my land. This is my hope. And they have heard both. Then I began to speak, not to anyone, but to the wind, to the sky, to the rice field itself. I am here. I will not be silent. As long as I can still hold on. As long as these feet are still able to stand on this mud. I will continue to fight. One by one I caught them. One by one I put them in the bucket. And the metallic sound of a snail hitting the bottom of the bucket, like a rhythm of resistance. A small rhythm, but loud in my head. This rice field is not for snails. This is land for life. For hope. For harvest. For the future I fight for every day. And this morning, with mud on my feet, and a body soaked with sweat and endless anger, I know the war is not over. But I also know, as long as I am here, they will not win. I continued walking, slowly, following the silent rows of rice. The mud got deeper. Every now and then my feet would sink, making my body wobble. But I didn't stop. I had to be patient. My eyes had to be sharp. Because they weren't hiding in easy places. Not on the surface, but behind the roots, in the gaps in the mud, in the water that silently nurtured destruction. My hands kept moving, entering the thick mud, feeling cold, slippery, smelly. Every handful could contain snails, or just empty mud that mocked. But I didn't give up. Because the more I caught, the calmer my heart became, and the safer my rice became. From a distance, I saw a clump of rice that was tilted, its leaves torn irregularly. It wasn't because of the wind. It wasn't because of the rain. I knew, it was their doing. I jogged towards it, the rice field water splashing onto my face. I reached for the stalk, and, sure enough, behind the nearly dead stalk, a large snail was hiding. Silent, clinging, as if innocent. I stared at it for a moment. Then I held it tightly. And the sound of plack, when it entered the bucket, satisfying. My steps had not stopped. The sky was getting brighter, but my heart remained dark. Because every time I looked back, there were always broken leaves, fallen stalks, and half-lost hopes. I couldn't get tired. I mustn't get tired. This wasn't just morning work. This wasn't just a farmer's routine. This was a fight between me and them, between hope and destruction. And today, I choose to continue walking down that line by line, step by step, without a sound, without a pause, without mercy. Tomorrow, or the day after, they will come again, when I am off guard, when I don't have time, when I look the other way. They will emerge from behind the mud, from the gaps in the silent water, from the silent night. And I will have to come back here, with the same bucket, with the same determination, with a body that is probably more tired than today. I know that, and that reality hangs in my chest like morning fog that won't go away. I stand in the middle of the rice field, looking around. The rows of rice that are still alive tremble softly in the wind, as if they are talking to me, whispering in a language that only those who are willing to listen can understand. Thank you, they might say. Or maybe, don't leave us. I don't answer. Just close my eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let all the sounds of the morning enter my chest. Then I open my eyes again. And when I step back to the edge of the rice field, I know, I will come again. Tomorrow, or the day after, when the snails crawl again, when the threat reappears. Because this is not about one morning. This is about a promise. About this rice field. About the rice that I planted with my own 2 hands. And about a heart that can never truly leave the mud.